All right, folks, we're back, and we have a friend here with us today that comes from time to time. This guy is a bright man, and has all kinds of things that he loves to talk about. And one of the things he's very interested in is tornadoes, and has done a lot of research and work on tornadoes and why and how and what we can do. And that's Chuck Mangino, and Chuck's back with us again today. Chuck, glad to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Two big old tornadoes touched down yesterday.
Yes, my wife called me into the room and she said, you've got to see this. And I was expecting, there's two tornadoes, and I expected one on one side real big and one small one, but there was two big ones. And I guess the timing is just, in a way, for me being here. Last year I came on, was talking about my theory about disrupting the pattern before the tornado actually touches down.
Right.
I've had it. There's a CNN report that was made and accepted back last year, and that's me when I was 10 years old, when I first came up with the theory of preventing the tornado from actually touching down, but it was in another form, but since it's been advanced. Well, anyway, after last year, after the
So when you were 10 years old,
when I first came up with it,
you came up with an idea about
disrupting the pattern before it touches down.
Okay.
And
you've been smart for a long time, haven't you, Chuck?
People didn't understand me. The pi thing and the memory thing, nobody understood it. They call it chaos theory and eidetic memory, and nobody understood it back then, back in the 60s, but they do now. They really do now. But, after the Moore tornado, I had the thing in the Tennessee, an article in Tennessee, and y'all gave me, my first time on here, which really opened up a lot of doors. There is a man, his name is Jim McGuinn out of Sacramento, California. He has just wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It's called Solving Tornadoes / Mastery the Mystery of the Vortex. Okay. And of the vortex. And what this is, he breaks down the vortex in depth. And he left a note, a comment, and this is how this all started. This next stage was Chuck's not too far off. He's not too far off. It's a bigger scale, but he's got the idea. And my first solution, Mangino's solution, was to intercept it at what's called the rear flank downdraft. And if you can intercept that pattern at the rear flank downdraft, it's the one that actually squeezes the air and actually makes the tornado form. A lot of people call it the hook.
Right.
But it's really one and the same. But if you can intercept it like 2,000 feet before the pattern is between 10 and 20,000 feet, if you can intercept that pattern, disrupt that pattern, that's where my whole solution starts right there. Also, the first Lego League team out of Windsor, Colorado, Mike Klemmer, got in touch with me. He says, we saw your video, and is there any way we could use it for our first Lego League project for competition? And I said, well, sure, it would be an honor. And what happened, they had an F3 tornado to go through Windsor, Colorado, back in 2008. So he says the kids were pumped, and so forth. It's kind of like they're kind of taking control of the situation.
Sure.
And it's to stimulate that mind. And like I said in the CNN report, it's like having starting a STEM program basing on the Mangino solution of disrupting the pattern before it actually starts. So I'm getting a lot of, since last year after the Moore tornado, a lot of people are coming up. There was one physics several months ago that came on national TV and says, well, think about building a wall and so forth, because people are really starting to look at this. They're getting bigger, they're getting more frequent, and there's more of a population, more of an area.
Sure.
So again, the Mangino solution is just one thing, is disrupting the pattern.
How would that happen?
With a maser. Think of your microwave oven, but on a greater scale.
Right.
With a airborne platform maser. At first, I set a 747 with one, which could happen. Also, what they call drones now.
Right.
Drones, if you set certain drones up 10, 20,000 feet, disrupt the pattern. And what happens is there is a supercomputer in Wyoming called the Yellowstone Weather Supercomputer. And I've talked about hopefully this happening for years ago. And it's finally happened. The computer is there. The math models are there. And so my objective is technology is advancing, what's called Moore's Law.
Right.
It's advancing up, and what I'm trying to start is an interception to where when these patterns get so fine-tuned, which is going to happen,
right.
It's happening in my lifetime. I'm seeing it all happen.
Sure.
Is be ready with my solution. And, I just do this out of the goodness of my heart. But when the time comes and the mathematical models are fine-tuned,
right.
My solution is already looked at, it's fine-tuned, it's researched. I know all that goes into research and development, trust me.
Yeah.
But that's my objective.
Okay.
And
so I guess looking at it from a layman's standpoint.
Exactly, right.
From a layman's standpoint, then if a tornado, if a cell that possibly could
right.
spawn a tornado
yes.
is moving through your area,
right.
then there would need to be a drone. There would need to be drones all over the
right.
tornado
right.
alley,
right,
with the capabilities of launch and intercept. When these issues come at hand.
Exactly, but you got to think now that with the mathematical models, that makes that more and more possible.
Right.
So the thing about it is, I use the analogy or the example. Think of the Wright brothers' first flight. They just wanted to fly at one time. As we speak, there's over 6,000 planes in the air over the United States alone.
Right.
These things can happen. It's going to take a while, and the factor is the time factor.
Right.
The faster the
time
research
is
starts,
always a factor.
It's always a factor. Yeah. But I've been at this. The Hennessy Corporation sent me a letter. They saw my video, the Hennessy drink, and they have a wild rabbit commercial they have on there, and they wrote and they said, keep going. It's just kind of a cheering, pat on the back type thing.
Right.
Keep going. This is my wild rabbit for 46 years. If I live to be 100, it'll be another 44 years, and I'll still be trying to do it.
Trying to do it.
I'll never stop.
Well, Chuck, the thing about it is so many things happen around the globe and in our society by people just like you, or just like, well, I'm not smart enough, but people who take it upon themselves to do research and find these answers. And you don't have to be in an institution somewhere or an institute somewhere,
right,
to be a smart man and come up with great ideas. And you are a smart man, and I appreciate you and am proud of you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
So I'll do just like those other guys. I'll pat you on the back and say, keep on going, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
And you've always got airspace here where when you need to make a report,
right,
we'll have you in to do it. So
excellent.
This guy right here has come up with a process on how to stop a tornado from happening, and from the time he was 10 years old, he knew what he wanted to do, and he's still fighting for it. God bless you for that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Chuck.
Thank you. It means the world to me. Thank you.
All right, buddy. All right, folks, we'll see you right after these messages.